Welcome back. This is part 4 where we just take a look at some of the various asset classes, looking at various time frames across a few different contracts. Again, all of this is just really to try and help you prepare for the week ahead. And you know, just a reminder, so you know, we've got a lot of inflation data leading up to the FOMC meeting decision this coming week. So you know, expect some big moves, I would say. And of course, you know, it's going to be a question of whether they're going to skip or they're going to do 25 basis points for the Fed. And of course, CPI could swing it one way or the other. And then, of course, you've got ECB, which is pretty much a done deal for a 25 basis point increase. Now, the indices analysis, just going to warn you here, I've moved on now to the September futures contract as June expires this Friday as part of the quad witching. So just a reminder of the legend. So black numbers in the right hand column, they are going to be support and resistance levels based on trend lines. Brown numbers are breakout levels. Claret numbers, these horizontal lines that I put in, are either levels where I see support or resistance, or whether they're on double, triple tops or bottoms. Just a reminder of the pivot point colors and also the fib colors, and there is at least one chart with the fibs this week. Okay, so as usual, we're going to start with the Dow Jones. So I've changed it to a weekly this week just to sort of go back a bit further to see the last time the markets were actually this high. And of course we can see that that was the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. And I've got resistance at 38,835. So this is on a weekly, just remember that. And then below that 36,832, 36,352. And then support much lower down at 32,772. Looking at the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 36,339 with support at 36,255. I've got support at 36,185, but that really is a breakout level. It's not really support. If it, you know, if it gets through there, in my mind, it's going to head a bit lower. Always remember, this is just my interpretation of the charts. They're not recommendations. And then I've got support at 35,985 with another breakout level below that at 35,961. Moving on to the S&P, this is back to a daily. The Dow was the only one I did as a weekly. So here I've got resistance at 46.09. And I got support at 45.55 and 45.43. So as you can see, it ended the week strong at the highs. On the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 46.04. I've got support at 45.93. Also 45.73, and then lower down at 45.43. Again, you know, you can see from there that on Friday the pivot point held really well. A lot of support there, and the market reacted and moved higher during the day. Okay, so Nasdaq daily. Here I've got resistance at 16,230. And support at 15,863. Not quite so strong, the Nasdaq, towards the end of last week. And then when we look on the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 16,046. I've got support at 16,015 and 16,016. 003. Moving on to the small cap stocks, you know, they've struggled. You know, they've had obviously a lot more of a challenging year than some of the bigger companies, and certainly the titans. Here I've got resistance at 1875 and 1872, and I've got support at 1791. On the 30-minute, I've got support at 1856, resistance at 1870, and then I've got a breakout level should it get below 1842, and then that's pretty much it there. Again, you know, you can see the way that it reacted to the pivots on Friday. And in general, I mean, on Thursday, it sort of pretty much hugged the pivot all day. So, moving on to currencies. So, pound against the dollar. So, again, finished the week sort of towards the highs of the week. I've got resistance at 127.72. I've got support, which is a breakout support though, at 125.90, and then the next support level at 123.15. Looking short term, on the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 127.19, and it sort of then it's the key level I'd say there is probably the 127.13 because it's support and resistance. That's sort of where they're crossing at the end of the day. So pretty much where it closed. And then if it starts to move lower, then you know, obviously this is the pound against the dollar. Then I've got 126.93 as a breakout level on the downside. 126.68, another breakout on the downside as well. With the euro against the dollar, I've got resistance at 111.77, also 110.42. I've got support, which, but again, it's one of those breakout supports at 108.34, and below that 106.71. You know, whenever the euro rallies, it really struggles to hold up at that 110, 111 levels. It doesn't mean that it can't at some stage go higher, but just at the moment, you know, this year it's sort of struggled at those sort of levels, most of it, I would say. Then looking at the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 109.18, 108.96, 108.90, with support at 108.77. So Bitcoin, yeah, you know, it sort of had its winter, but now it's certainly towards the end of this year enjoyed a bit of a summer, a bit of late sunshine here. So we've seen it almost touch 40,000 again, and I've got resistance at 39,658. I've got support at 37,797. Also at 34,270. If it does have a big sell-off though, then a breakout level on the downside would be 33,745. Obviously, a lot of this is around whether a ETF, Bitcoin ETF, will be approved by the SEC or not. Okay, so then on the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 39,408, support at 39,247, and lower down support at 38,685. Again, just as a little bit of interest, I keep this one in there. This is Bitcoin versus Nasdaq. At the moment, sort of both moving up, so you've got that more of a positive correlation in play. But you know, it's probably a little bit more for fun, just a little bit of insight into what's going on, because you do sort of get that negative correlation, but as you can see from there, it's become a little bit more of a positive one at the moment because they're both very steady. Moving on to gold, again another big boost on Friday, almost touching 2100. So I've got resistance at 2095 and support at 1956 and 1875. On the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 2098, support at 2090. Obviously, it may break that very early. And then support at 2056. But yeah, I mean, just look at that Friday afternoon. There was just a lot of strength again in gold and silver as well, actually. Okay, finally, we're going to take a look at oil. It's not having the same type of performance as gold. So I've got resistance at 85.13. OPEC Plus really sort of couldn't come out with anything to make the market want to go higher. And the fact that, you know, any further cuts at the moment are pretty much on a voluntary basis is indicating that, you know, the member states actually just want to sell their oil just to get that revenue in. And therefore, it's just moved a bit lower, ended sort of pretty much at the lows of the week. And so I've got support at 73.86 and 72.10. And finally, the WTI 30-minute chart. I got resistance 76.12, support at 74.18 and 73.80. Of course, we've got a lot of unemployment data out this week, especially from the Fed. In the US, we've got PMIs as well, along with some other data. So again, interesting. Just keep an eye on the geopolitical issues out there as well, especially in the Middle East, just in case any other countries are drawn into the conflict. Hopefully not, but you just never know. The markets will react to that. And of course, remember, we are now in December, so you will start to see the volumes slowly drop off as traders break for the end of the year. And then that can lead to higher volatility. So just be ready for that. And apart from that, just go through the last couple of slides, and that's it for another week. Hope to see you again next week. Again, just finally, a little reminder of what we do. So apart from the YouTubes, daily newsletters that go straight to your inbox each morning to provide you with global headlines, global news, and also my views. And then if you'd like to subscribe, we also provide chart levels and pivot points. When it comes to courses, we offer everything from one-day workshops, one-week courses. One of those includes a free trading challenge, up to the comprehensive masterclass, which is an accredited course, and the next one of that starts in a week's time on the 19th of June. So if you're interested, then contact us quickly because those places won't be around for long. Now, also trader mentoring, where we help traders improve and get to that next level time and again. We consult to companies, FX and commodity exposure. We provide a whole platform and mass of educational content to individuals, exchanges and brokers. And as usual, we start with our disclaimer. So trading involves the potential risk of loss of capital. It's not suitable for everyone. although hopefully it is for you. When it comes to leverage, just be careful because you can lose substantially more than that initial investment. Everything we include in here is just purely for educational purposes. We're not trying to provide you with advice, we're just trying to help you prepare, understand the markets better, to help you make better decisions. But of course, if you are looking to invest or trade, that has to be your decision. And before you make that, you should consider your financial situation, your level of experience, and your risk appetite. And of course, on your risk capital, you're prepared, but more importantly, can afford to lose. If you've got any doubts whatsoever, seek independent financial advice before risking your capital.